the plot thickens in this review of episode 5 of Steins Gate Zero. I'm sorry, that was a terrible accent. But yeah, the plot is getting a lot more thicker, and all these pieces are coming in, new pieces, and old pieces are fitting it together, but still giving us tons of questions as to what the freak is going to happen with Okabe and his whole story in this B alternative world. So let's go into episode 5. This one I'll do a little bit more of how the story unfolded in this episode, because the narrative is getting a lot more interesting, and where you have to go by each scene to understand what's going on here, because each scene actually was very important. Almost every scene was important in this episode. So it starts off again with Okabe meeting Moeka and confused and like, what the freak, like, why is she here? And he's panicking because, you know, he, in all the other timelines, and most of the other timelines, she had killed Mayuri. She was part of CERN. All this other stuff happened, and so he always sees her as someone who's very dangerous. But it just turns out to be Daru's informant, and she's like a writer for an editorial, and so they hire her to find out more information about the girl who was lost in Akiba? No, I don't remember. Well, that went missing in Akihabara about 12 years ago. So they go and they have her start searching for that and contract her. And what she comes up with is she actually finds out not a lot of information that leads them to find out who she is, but give them more information of how she is important. And one of the things that they find in her report is that there's another group of people that are looking for her, and they say that they're all men, or that they're men, and that they're foreign. So again, that doesn't give too much information, but just that there's another group of people looking for her. Okabe says something along the lines of, well, you know, she couldn't have survived by herself. You know, she was 10 years old, and 12 years have passed, so she must have had some sort of relationships formed, or bonds, or something to have helped her, you know, survive. And they say if it doesn't prove, or it doesn't show who she is, but at least it clarifies and it testifies and confirms that she is actually still alive. I'm kind of going back a little bit here. What kind of sucks is that in this episode we got almost no Kurisu. I think we saw her maybe once, and that was kind of in a flashback-ish scene. But anyway, so I think what they're trying to do is show how much Okabe is reluctant to talk to her again, because you see him ignore a call from her again, and then later on you hear in the flashback that he has ignored like 20 plus calls again, and Maho's trying to be like, well, maybe it's because he broke his phone. She's like, well, maybe, but I hope that's what it is. That's what she says. So but going back to Maho, one part is that she is trying to get her computer fixed. I guess she's locked out or something, and so this is where you start to see that she's starting to grow feelings or some sort of affection towards Okabe, because as she's about to leave her university or her lab or whatever, you have Professor Leskinen come in and ask, oh, are you gonna go see Rintaro? And she's like, oh, how can you know, why would you think that? And she gets all blushing. It's like, well, are you going to Akihabara? It's like, yeah. It's like, well, isn't that where his lab is? It's like, well, I guess since I'm there, I could visit him. And he's just trying to make her admit that she wants to go see him. And this actually didn't bother me too much. I would think that her growing feelings for him, it's still kind of odd, because he's not the fun mad scientist that we know from Steins Gate. He's very emotional. He's very broken, and it's interesting that she is falling for that, or at least that's what they're trying to show us. But one thing that was kind of odd, and maybe it was in the other episodes, but I didn't catch it. But in this episode, she gets off the train to Akihabara, and she's gonna go look for him. But she starts getting chased by some unknown person, and she feels the person, like, I know someone's chasing me. But anyway, as you see her run, did anyone else notice that she has two different pairs of shoes? At least I never noticed that in any of the episodes so far. So I don't know if this is just because she's, very unorganized and dirty, like according to Kurisu and how her room is. But I just thought that was like, oh, that's interesting, that's funny. It's like I wonder if it plays something important. And like probably not, but we can always guess. But then there's another person that starts following her, who was on a bike, and then you come to find out that it's actually one of her colleagues. Her name is Judy Reyes. And what's funny is that Maho tries calling Makabe, like, come help me, like, I'm being chased. And he goes out there with a freaking umbrella to, I guess, attack whoever is going to be attacking Maho. But then you find out it's their colleague. She says that Judy is in the field of psychophysiology, which makes her more of, what's the word? It makes her job and her role in the AI system more prominent than Maho's. So, but we don't get too much. We get like maybe 3 minutes with her, and then she leaves. So we'll probably see her come back. And then we have Maho who confronts Okabe about rejecting Amadeus's calls, and she says something to the fact of, you know what, you knew this was a test. We're not reimbursing you. We're not doing anything for you. So just give me the phone, give me the program, and we'll take you off. And Okabe is very reluctant to do so. And this is where Maho comes out and says, I know that you had a deep relationship or a close relationship with Kurisu. And he tries to deny it, but she's like, no, I can tell the way you're acting. And she tries to, again, enforce the idea or the knowledge that this person is not Kurisu. And Okabe is trying to fight that. He's like, oh, even though you say that, these are still Kurisu's memories. Like, I know that. And it looks like he's trying to have an internal struggle where he knows that it's not her, but all the memories and the way that she's acting reminds him so much of her that he doesn't know which one to do. If he wants to keep actually trying to talk to Amadeus or to get out of the beta system as a beta tester. So he tells Maho, give me a little bit more time. And that's where that scene ends. And then we get to the final part, and this is where things get freaking crazy. So we have Ruka come in, and so to preface this, we have Okabe in the lab with Mayuri, and they're talking about New Year's and having a party. And then she goes out to go buy some cloth for I think it was for Fari's. I think it's for her costume for Kamima. Anyway, we have Ruka come in, and Ruka says that he needs help from Okabe with the guest that's staying at his house, who is the daughter of her father's friend. So she comes in, and Okabe just is paralyzed, and he's like, this person, he about to say Kurisu, that's what he's about to say. But obviously you can tell it's not her, and you have differences in here, and he also realizes that once he actually talks to her and their voices are different. But anyway, what Ruka wants to do is he wants to help this girl get her memories back because she has amnesia, and she thinks Okabe can do that, and Okabe is not very sure because the field that he goes into is not very specialized in helping with amnesia, so he doesn't know how much he can do. And since the person doesn't even know her own name, for now they call her Kana. And so as they're speaking to see what they can do to find out who she is, you have Mayuri who comes up. And this is where things get crazy, because right before she's about to come up, we have Kana-chan present a sort of clue that could possibly give him hints of who she is, and she gives it to Okabe, and it's this little doll thing that it looks grayish and very old, and then Mayuri comes in and she's like, oh, we have guests, and then she recognizes that doll, and she says, oh, this is Upa, and she says that this little doll is from a movie that just recently came out, and so she has the same thing. And as Mayuri is looking at the little Upa doll, you also see Kana-chan looking like deer in the headlights, like she is stunned. And Okabe is looking at both of them and she says, well, why is this so old if this movie just came out barely? And then he puts two and two together. He's like, this is Kagari Shina. This is the daughter of Mayuri. And Kana, or now we can call her Kagari, she probably makes that same assumption and connection, and after a little bit, she faints. And then we see the last piece of the puzzle that we need in here, which is Suzuhara, and she comes in, and she looks, and she instantly recognizes who that is. And the last sentence that you hear is Kagari Shina. It's like, that's Kagari Shina. Now, I'm really excited to hear what Mayuri thinks is, because that's her last name. And she's going to be like, what a coincidence, maybe. She'll think, it's a coincidence we have the same last name. But I think at this point, they're going to have to, Okabe's going to have to reveal everything to everyone. To Mayuri, to Daru, to get everyone on the same page who this person is. I don't know where they're going to go from here, because now they have all the puzzles together. We have Suzuha, who's been looking for Kagari, and Kagari is there. Now we're going to find out what happened to her in the last 12 years. And I think they're going to go back to that scene where she held the gun and said that she hears a voice. I don't know what that voice is. And that might be the organization that is trying to find Kagari. Because, again, we don't know much about who this person is, or what this organization is, other than the fact that they're foreign and that they're men. But they might have some other plans for her, and maybe she's eluded them up until now. But anyway, it was a great episode. Kept me, entertained all throughout. Had some good jokes over here. One that I actually wanted to go into was when they meet up with Maho. Freaking Daru, he's such a weeaboo. He's like, can we make her the official loli character of the lab? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's gonna have a beautiful wife, who's a cosplayer too, and he's still fawning over loli characters. It's a cliche thing. I'm kind of over the whole loli character stuff. I've never got into it. I just don't understand it, why there's such an infatuation for it. But that's a rant for another day. Great story, great episode, 9 out of 10 again. There's no signs of slowing down, and I'm excited to see where this takes us. So let me know what you think about this episode, or any theories that you have of where we're going to end up. Again, if this is about the game, if you play the game, I don't want to hear it. I just want to hear, if you've just seen the anime, tell me where you think this is going to go. This is David the Smash Fan from Chibi no Podcast, and I'm out.
It's yours! Your course, not his!